How's you guys? What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another Visionary Edge podcast. We are so excited. 2025. Well, we already finished lunch. We're about halfway through the day, first day, and I'm so excited to introduce my next guest with us. We've got Chuck. Chuck, I mean, man, we connected earlier. You came in, we talked, we spoke, but I need to hear a little bit more about your story, man.
Okay.
Like you told me a little bit, but can you give the audience just where are you? Why are you here?
Why am I here?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I can do that, man. It's an honor to be invited to this podcast. I've heard a lot about you guys, man, so thank you. Not only am I proud of what you're doing, I'm truly equally thankful too, man. The podcast, the information you gave to the audience, how it can increase, your brand, right? Your clientele, your revenue,
and just to people to
just
know
the message.
Just the message. You told me earlier.
I got a message.
You got a message.
I got a message.
So let's hear.
So my name is Chuck Day, right? I come from a poor family. Mom was an alcoholic. Dad was a drug dealer. I had two siblings. I had my brother. I had my sister. So fast forward.
You the middle child?
I'm the black sheep, right?
Yeah. Me too.
Black sheep. They say the black sheep ends up being the goat.
Yeah, we need it.
Greatest of all time, right here. And you never could really project that at the beginning. And throughout my years of being in that, like getting high, acting out and participating in the criminal lifestyle, never seemed to be abnormal, right? It was the thing that we did, and it was the thing that everyone else did around me. So I got involved in the drug life, the criminal life.
But you were surrounded. I mean, you were engulfed in. I mean, you from a child, right? From day one. That's all you.
Yeah, they say like your main mental state is developed in the first 7 years. So, like, it was just better than me. To do something different, it would have been like something that you would have seen, like a miracle, right? Like a God-given miracle for me to come out of that without, no real guidance. So what I fell into was absolutely normal. And there's so many people that fall into that because they don't have the right mentors. But by the time I was 12, I was selling crack cocaine, and I got into doing a lot of drugs. My mom, she never worked. She never had a job. She lived in metropolitan housing. She never had her driver's license. Fast forward, I started, using. I became a IV heroin drug addict. I became homeless, and I used every day. I used, when I was done using and I couldn't stop using, I wanted to stop using, I continued to use. And I remember the last time I got high, and this is 10 years ago. We just celebrated 10 years without any mind-altering substance.
Congratulations, man.
And that's like, us finding a new planet in outer space for me to get clean.
I mean, to just say one thing is like you grew up with this. To have your mentality, you were getting pushed out every single day, every day. The fact that you are sitting here with me right now, 10 years, like, it's unbelievable. Like, I'm proud of you, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. I'm about to shed a tear, man.
Me too, man. Like,
it's emotional, man. So that last time I got out, I actually kicked in a door down the street, and I actually stole a TV off a wall, and I walked in the broad daylight down to the pawn shop, and I pawned it and off to get some money, right, to go cure my addiction for one last time. And through that process, I was in and out of treatment centers, in and out of jails, homeless. And I got a phone call. Some girl, she was like, "What are you doing?" And I told her I'm trying to detox off drugs. She took me to her trailer. Yeah, she helped me start, the detox process. And I was able to get a day clean, 2 days clean, 3 days clean. And then, before you know it, I had 6 months, and I was living in the sober living.
Okay.
And this was at Cincinnati, and I had a community, right, all working 12-step programs. And I did that. I was on a soul-searching, mission, cleaning up the wreckages of my past, making amends. And at that point, I never had a legal job, right? It was all illegal. So I'm like, what am I going to do with my life now that the drugs are gone? And I found a lot of help with helping people. So I was sponsoring people, taking them through the 12 steps. And then I became a manager at a sober living. And then some girl told me that she was a counselor at a drug treatment center. And I said, and she said, you can do it too. I'm like, I don't know if they're going to let me, right, counsel anybody. You sure you're going to let me work in this facility? She convinced me and a friend of mine, right?
Who wouldn't have been better? Because you have been and seen and sit through like relapse. You've been in the position of all these people. So the fact is, like, that's monumental, man. Like, this is something I love. Like, I'm loving this story because we got to think like those days. One day, was that what was the hardest day? Like, what if you could think back? What was the hardest time?
The hardest time I remember when I was in my basement. I went and see my brother. He was in the hospital, and I stole a horse needle, right? And I went back and I attempted suicide. I put over a gram, close to 2 grams of heroin in this needle. I attempted to take my life. And I remember just waking up on the concrete floor, and I remember this still voice, and I heard the voice of God, and I identified it as, at that moment, telling me, I'm not going to let you die, but I'll let you continue to live in this miserable mindset. And at that point, that was more scarier than death.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've been shot, and I got bullet fragments in my knee, dragged by core, overdosed several times. And, you know, them moments right there, I knew, like, I had to get clean, right? And if I didn't, right, I was going to end up dead. And a lot of my friends were dead at that point, or they were going to prison for a long time, or if not, going to prison for life. So I ended up working in the field, right? And I became a mentor, and then I had a dream of opening my own sober living, and I did that, and I was fearful that I wouldn't have anyone show up, like clientele, like residents to show up. But, you know, since then, I pretty much have had a waiting list ever since that.
Yeah.
First 2 years I did that, and then I had, you know, a dream of opening an actual treatment center, right?
Yeah.
Behavioral health practice, and I went to college and got a 2-year degree, broke the generation, you know, curse.
Yeah, man.
Was the first one in my family to graduate college, and then here I am opening up this behavioral health practice, and that's a very complex, you know, a lot of red tape, you know, a lot of compliances. So, you know, I worked pretty much every position, but I was, you know, I'm still doing it, right? But I had to start off where I worked pretty much every position, would fire myself, hire someone, you know, so I can, you know, spend more time on building the business or developing another department. But here we are. We just celebrated 5 years since Potterhouse Recovery has been open, and we have 57 employees. We have like a total of 110 clients.
Oh, man.
We have 2 treatment centers. We have 7 sober livings, and we're getting ready to open up a restaurant. So it's called Potterhouse Cafe and Hibachi. That's going to open up this month, and then we're going to actually travel into doing more real estate where I am now, right? I call it from the hustle to being a visionary, more like hustling to more focus on like the visionary. In the beginning, it was the hustle and the original idea. But once you get the team in place and you're able to delegate and you're able to pull yourself out, that's when you can really focus on the visionary. So that's why we're here. We're at Visionary 25.
Wow.
We want to continue to enlarge that vision.
That was a great, you did a great segue right there. I love that. The visionary, the vision. I mean, Chuck, the story that you just told me it's going to be inspirational, but also it's a you never give up kind of thing, right? You know, you went to this really dark time, but if you never went to that, you would not have all that you have right now.
I believe that. Yeah.
You know,
I feel like I was reincarnated. Yeah.
Like you had to go through, you had to fail forward.
Yeah.
And that's our kind of motto for this kind of like visionary. It's you failing forward. And man, I'm so excited to get the audience to hear this story. I mean, Chuck, man, like so you're doing very well. You're doing real estate now.
Yeah.
What's next for you? What do you? I mean, you got the restaurant.
We're just gonna expand the treatment center. We want to be able to help as many people as possible. When I was in college, before I even opened up the sober living and the treatment center, they had me write a essay, a paper to be able to get a scholarship. They said, we want you to write on what your life is gonna look like before college, what your life is gonna look like after. And it was easy for me to write. You know what it looked like before, you know what I mean? It's my life. It's the easiest story to tell. But like I prophesized through that paper exactly what my life looks like today. And at the end of it is the goal is, right? The main goal is to help as many people as possible. Like we made a huge impact in the Cincinnati area, and we're going to continue to grow in the state of Ohio. And then, my biggest goal is to be the biggest treatment center provider in the Midwest of the United States. And that's a little far-fetched, but they say you got to be unreasonable, Bobby.
No, you kidding me? That is what it's shoot amongst the moon, you'll land against the stars, right? Shoot, that's kind of what we're doing with Podcast Junkies. I started at this one position, and my whole goal is to actually have this all over the country. I want
global. Yeah.
Global. I want to have people
international.
Exactly. And junkies. It's so like I said, Podcast Junkies.
Yeah, so, I know that part.
You came up to me and you were like, all right, junkies, I need to know the story. And it's so amazing. Like that is the story, right?
Yeah.
You were a junkie. Junkies. There are so many things that we can correlate. And man, Chuck, I appreciate you coming on.
Not a problem for having me,
and man, I cannot wait. And guys, definitely, I haven't told you this yet, Chuck, but I launched my show called Been There, Done That. And so it's a lot of things where, I've never been to a treatment plant. I've never done any of those things. I'd love to come and check out your store, give a video, and just show all the people that, are trying to save themselves, right? And you're doing that, man. You are, honestly, it's like you are the Messiah, right? You are the person that is helping and giving that.
Yeah, I would have thought, the black sheep.
Exactly. Now go back to the coach.
Been there, done that. Yeah.
Greatest of all time.
And I think that's probably the best person that God could have chose to carry out this mission, man. Be able to, be there, done that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Walk in their shoes through the detox, through the institutions, through the poverty home sets, all the way to, the abusive, mother and, boyfriends being violent with one another. Mom, being an alcoholic, dad, drug dealer. I mean, you go on, like anything that the client's ever experienced, I've been there. I've done that. So, and then I develop a team that's been there, done that too. 95% of our team has lived experience. And I like to hire, people that are smarter.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Faster than me. So I got doctors, I got, psych nurse practitioners.
And always getting better, right? Always getting better. You're always improving. You're going to expand.
That's why we're here, to get information, become better. That's what it's all about. Yeah.
Hey, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Chuck, I really appreciate it. I'm so excited to get this message out to everybody. All right, man?
Man, I can't wait to hear it, man. Let me know when you get it.
I will.
And that show, too. Let me know.
I will let you know.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.